Good day, everyone. This is Grey Wolf for Grey Wolf's Gaming Corner, back with another Project Stardust video. This morning, I want to look at two cruisers specifically. I'm not going to tell you what the other one is yet. We'll save that because it's a special one. But I'm going to bring the MC80A and do some gameplay with it. And I want to talk about this one. So the MC80A is a Home 1 type heavy star cruiser. So this is basically like the basis for Admiral Ackbar's Home 1. And this thing is, if you remember the movies, it's got a very signature shape and look to it that you'll remember from Return of the Jedi. If you watched Star Wars, if you're a Star Wars geek like me. And unlike a lot of the Moncal ships, you have it looks like a main bridge up here. You have a couple smaller viewing ports throughout the ship. It kind of had a more starship look to it, I guess, versus some of the other Moncal ships that we've gone through where there's not any real discernible crew spaces on the ship, which, in spaceships would make sense. You might not want a discernible bridge because you don't want a focal point for people to fire at. But I think it looks cool from a cinematic standpoint to have an obvious bridge that you can focus on and in a movie, and it kind of like they did in Star Wars, more on the Imperial side. But we saw what happened with that, right? With the Executor, when it took a starfighter right through the main bridge and exploded and basically dived into the Death Star like a big spear. But I really like this ship. I like the look of it in the game. I think the one drawback this ship has that I'm going to draw attention to is, if you notice down here on the right, it has a good fighter complement. It has decent health and shields. But there's no missile weapons. It's just a beam ship. It's just a laser and ion weapon ship. And it's a beast. It can put out a high volume of fire, but it's more, because of the way it's set up, it's more consistent DPS than it is a lot of damage all at once. And it's somewhat tanky, so we'll jump in back here, see if we can catch this guy in the back. So first thing with these ships, I always launch my fighters first. That is the very first step. And let's see, are we close to anybody? Close enough to hit anybody? I think we are. He's down below us. There he is. We're going to dive into him. And we'll unleash the firepower. Oh, it doesn't help when our aim's off. Okay. I don't know why that setting doesn't automatically just stay on. And unfortunately, guys, it does look like we've got some pretty... I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we have server lag? Oh, pardon me. I'm still fighting this cold. But the one issue that Project Stardust is facing right now is the popularity of the game has made it so that, and with the new update, I mean, if you look at all these particle effects, I think they're really affecting server performance. And it just takes minutes for the game to catch up. So now I'm starting to see a little bit better weapon effects. And I joined a smaller game hoping that would fix that problem. And now I have no idea where that guy just went to. I guess he's dead. So yeah, it's been kind of tough to do reviews lately with the amount of issues we're seeing from the game as far as like the server lag. It's an awesome game. I love it. I just hope they fix the server lag issues. But as you can see, I can put out an impressive amount of ion damage, and there's a good battery of turbo lasers to back it up. And then what this thing's really about, too, is the fighter complement. So I'm going to send my fighters in now that I've got his shields down. And they're going to go in there and just start unleashing all their firepower too. And can watch, I'll cease fire just so you can see the effects. But yeah, right there. So they just started to torpedo him there towards the end. But the amount of strike craft on this thing is significant. So it can do really good damage just with fighter craft. Oh, let's see. We got a ship over here. Looks like he's trying to take this space over here. We've got another one down there. You know what? We'll aim for this guy because his shields are almost down. We'll send our fighters in. I'd say my biggest issue with the ship, though, is, again, the damage is consistent, but there's not really any burst potential other than what your fighters can provide, and it's pretty limited. Especially if a ship has decent point defense, your fighters are just not going to make it in. Oh, this lag is terrible. That is my major issue with this game right now. I really hope the server lag gets better. I know they're working on it, but... And a lot of it has to do with all the turbo laser ships in-game right now. The amount of particle effects you get from one of these ships is pretty significant. And that's just my guess, but I think that's what's causing the problems. There goes my shields. So I'm getting hit by multiple ships, but I can't really tell because my let's focus on this guy. Yeah, I would say definitely the turbo lasers provide more bursts. There's all my fighters coming back. I don't know if they'll even get to this guy before he's dead. Probably not. You know what? We'll bring him back. But as you can see, when the server cooperates, this ship puts out significant firepower. We're going to turn to this guy. Take him out so we can get that, so we can start swimming towards that space. I use the term swim because these ships essentially swim through space. They look a lot like a giant shellfish. I wish they would make them, like even the newer ones, look like more organic even than this. Because this one, if you look at it, you can see all the different welded panels and stuff. But it'd be cool if it had more of like a skin look to it. We're almost there. Not quite. Okay, so I'm almost up to this cap point. Alright, we'll go ahead and stop here. Take the point. And it's gone white, as you can see, so it's no longer capped for them. And then it'll go yellow here in a minute. Once it goes yellow, we're going to jump over to that next one. And I believe it is capped. So let's go start heading to the next one. See, none of my fighter squadrons really have any damage on them. So there is no need to dock any of them. And we're kind of just blowing this other team out of the water here. But the faster I can get to the cap point, the faster we get all the points capped, the faster we win. So here's something to shoot at. Big old Star Destroyer. Let's send some fighters at it. Give you guys a chance to see the damage from the fighters. I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see the B-wings and stuff flying out there. There they go. X-wings, B-wings. Maybe zooming out while my... Nope. That's what I'm saying. I think most of this lag is server side. I do hope they get it fixed. Gonna let my fighters shoot. No, I guess my ship got taken out. See, and I never even saw my ship taking any fire, so it just goes to show you that the lag is so immense right now. Let's see if we can jump onto another server for the next part of this review. So I'm gonna return to the lobby, see if we can find a better server. And I've tried jumping in servers with less people. It doesn't seem to make a difference. I have not tried starting my own server. I haven't talked to them about the game developers about that. Possibly that might be a future solution to just improve the gameplay videos. So now we move on to the most fun portion of this video. And I'm going to do one thing real quick. I'm going to bump down game volume just a little bit. No, don't leave. I want to just exit out of this, okay? There we go. Yeah, the volume was just a little crazy. So we're going to jump in the second ship I'm doing today, which is the premium MC80A. and Admiral Ackbar's flagship, the Home 1. Now, looking at this thing already, you can tell the skin's a little different. It's got a little bit more of a brownish look to it, kind of like in the movie. It's not quite as gray. There's some reds. It looks like, you know, maybe it's a little bit older. There's been some patchwork done in places. Some modifications done. And if you look at your stats, you'll notice already that the health pool is at 125k and the shields are at 165k. So this thing is a massive tank in comparison to its base model. And it is a tier higher, so, you know, that makes sense. Again, one of the biggest letdowns with this ship is it does consistent DPS, but it doesn't really have good burst DPS, not from its weapons suit. However, the amount of strike craft on this is also increased. It even has the Millennium Falcon tagging along with it. So it can do significant damage with just its strike craft. So it gives it kind of an advantage in that regard. Plus, with the tanky nature of the ship, the massive amount of lasers and stuff on this thing for its own point defense, it's pretty good. I don't want to say it's the best Mon Cal cruiser I've played with yet for tier, but it's a significantly hard ship to kill. So let's jump in here. And we're already inundated with people, so we're going to get murdered pretty quick, but we'll give it a shot. Immediately we want to launch our fighters. We want to find a target and attack hostile. And put our auto aim on, which was not on. See if we can take this guy down before we die. Probably not, but we'll give it a shot. If we kill him, we're switching to the guy below. Okay, one down. That guy's dead. Everybody else has full shields. Yep. And we're out. But as you can see, that our whole side was overwhelmed there. Serious disparity in numbers. And we were still able to take that ship out pretty much almost solo there. So while this boy is respawn timing, let's jump into its predecessor again. Since I'm focusing on these two, and you note there, like, what is it, like a third less basically for shields and health. So again, we're probably going to get killed pretty quick here, since there's only like 3 of us on this side. But we'll do what we can do. I'm going to launch our fighters right away.
I sense your weakness.
Auto aim is on. Got a Reaper on our side. How can we lose? Keep up that fire. He's out. Let's switch to this guy. Oh, okay. We're going to keep focusing on the same target as the Reaper. Well, Reaper's down. Okay. Doesn't really matter what we shoot then. Because I am now the focus target. So we're doing pretty significant damage, even though we're getting knocked out relatively quickly. You look at the damage caused to ships, we did 78,000 there in that little tiny amount of time that we were in there. So these things are great brawlers. They do a ton of damage early on, but they really take a lot of if they're focus fired, they go down relatively quickly, even with their tanky nature. So I don't want to really jump into anything else today because I want to save some of these other ships for a different video. We'll jump back into Home 1 here in a minute once it pops back up. But suffice to say, I've been, you guys can tell by my gold amount, by how much of the tree that I have unlocked. I have been putting a ton of time into this game and working desperately hard to get the Star Wars tree unlocked. I have been grinding it out, and I'm having a great time. Honestly, it's not been a hard grind at all. It's been really enjoyable. The ships seem to do, for the most part, in the tree seem to be either on par or maybe a little bit overpowered. We're going to talk about an overpowered line in this tree in coming days. I think it's just probably overlooked right now, but it's pretty incredible. And that's coming up in a future review. I don't think Home 1 is overpowered, not really. I think it's just a really good ship. But it's, I think for Tier 5, it's about where it should be. For Tier 5 ship that requires a massive XP investment, I think it's about where it should be. Alright, go get them. Go get them, fighters. Just look at that damage stack up, guys. Every volley just does a ton of damage with this thing. But I just wish there were better burst damage. I wish there were some missiles to fill in the blank with. That being said, we're going to do what we can do. We're going to be dead here in a second. Yep, there we go. But in the same amount of time, I did 78,000 with my other ship, taking about the same amount of fire, maybe a little more with Home 1. I did 168,000. So, yeah, significant difference there. Also a significant difference in the respawn time. You're only going to get 1 or 2 goes in this thing per game, and then you're going to jump back in something else. But that being said, it's just a really fun plot ship to play. Everybody loves Admiral Ackbar, right? Probably one of the coolest aliens in, I think, the original trilogy. The whole Moncal portion of the rebellion is just a cool idea that they came up from, essentially from being relatively at peace to taking all their civilian craft and turning them into warships because there was a need, right? And before that, the Alliance basically just had, Rebel Alliance basically just had, Nebulon B cruisers and old bulk cruisers and basically was just completely outgunned. So they really needed the help. And you can see the difference in fire here. Home 1 just puts out such a higher volume of fire. And in that situation, you guys might be asking, why wasn't I attempting to cap? There's no point. When you're that outnumbered, ship to ship, you really just want to get the damage in that you can get in. You're going to get a lot more experience. So it's a good ship. I like it. I like I'm actually going to end it before this next battle, this video. But I like the MC80A. I think for Tier 4, it's a good ship. It's not overpowered. Again, it's very balanced for the tier. And I would say that maybe the Home 1's a little bit OP. It's definitely a significant improvement over the base model at Tier 4. But, it is a Tier 5 ship. And you guys know this game. You know what other ships are at Tier 5. And you know there's, the Reaper ships and some of the other stuff can just do tremendous amounts of burst damage. And really, this thing gets withered away really quick when it's up against a ship that's, OP for the tier. So I think it's pretty well balanced. Yeah, it's got a lot of fighters. The fighters can take something out pretty quick, but the beam weapons on some of these other ships dwarf that, in my opinion, as far as the nature of being OP. I don't find this ship to be overpowered, but I do find it to be very enjoyable to play. I'm a huge Star Wars geek, and I love the fact that they've made some real improvements to the tree, made the ships better, and put them all in their own trees. And I love the changes with the maps. The one thing I hope they fix is server performance. If they did that, this game would have a really good future, I think. The developers are doing a great job with it outside of that. They just needed to spend some money and get better server support. And it's amazing to me that this is just a Roblox game. It's probably like one of the best games I've played of this like spaceship versus spaceship nature, and it's Roblox, right? So I'd love to hear what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please give your comments and feedback below. Please like and subscribe if you liked and subscribe the video. And I will catch you on the next one, guys. Have a great day.